Here's the essentials you need to know if you need to know about Neutral Tones by Thomas Hardy. Here's an overview to start off with. It's basically a poem about the end of a relationship. It's a memory that Thomas Hardy has got about a walk that he took with his partner, who is supposedly romantically involved with, a while ago when they walked on a winter day past a pond. Okay, and now he's thinking back on that memory. He's thinking about the fact that it seemed it was actually the end of their relationship, right? And he's kind of remembering that and what a sort of terrible time it was and how near the end of their relationship they were. Let's have a look at some key quotations, shall we? So, number one, right at the start, we stood by a pond that winter day. Okay, now he describes the kind of nature around them, and this natural imagery he uses in this first verse is showing the state of their relationship. Obviously, if he's going to use this pathetic fallacy, the environment and the weather reflecting how they feel, he's going to set it in winter, right? And he talks about some details in there. There's a few leaves laying on the starving sod, so the starving earth and leaves kind of lying on it like it's been sort of destroyed, like their relationship is. It's kind of basically showing what their relationship is like in nature, right, with this pathetic fallacy. Quotation number two, your eyes on me were as eyes that rove over tedious riddles of years ago. Now let's break that down a little bit, right? Her eyes were looking at him like they were eyes looking at a riddle, right? Now if you think about that, you're kind of confused when you look at a riddle, but also a tedious riddle, so a boring riddle. Now imagine you're looking at a boring riddle, okay? And also it's a boring riddle of years ago, so it's like really old-fashioned. So it's an old-fashioned boring riddle that you have to kind of work out. Imagine you're staring at that, but actually that's the look you're giving the person you're supposed to be in a romantic relationship with, right? That's how she's looking at him, and that's what their relationship feels like. Number three, a grin of bitterness swept thereby like an ominous bird a wing. Now, birds usually have this idea that if a bird turns up, there's something ominous, something terrible about to happen. Right, so she's got this grin of bitterness. She's sort of smiling at him, but she's really bitter and unpleasant towards him, right? And it seems like something terrible is going to happen, right? When we get down to the last verse, quotation number 4, since then, keen lessons that love deceives and rings with on have shaped to me your face, etc., and what he says later on. So what he means by this is, since then, I know that love has deceived me. So I was in love with you, but I know we've then split up and terrible things have happened. And all of that has shaped this memory that I've got. So since this thing happened, I've been thinking about it, and I know now that we've split up, and it makes me think about what this memory we had in a terrible sort of negative way. And he ends with, it's shaped all these details, including a pond edged with greyish leaves. He goes back to, you can see quotation 5 there is up at the top as well, had fallen from an ashenwood grey. So he returns to this memory, and it's like this memory keeps coming back to him of this terrible relationship. Now, to put it in context, Thomas Hardy was in an exceptionally unhappy marriage for a long period of time, and he wrote a lot of novels about how marriage was a kind of trap, and in the late Victorian era when he was living, lots of people were in very unhappy marriages, and this is a very frank depiction with this natural imagery of the end of an unhappy relationship.